Okay, so OpenBridge Designer, a BIM workflow or a standalone workflow. What does it mean by that? And this is a concept that we have introduced in OpenBridge Designer, right? In which we are still using the same DGN files, but then before you start any project with OBD, you have the option to say, I need to work on BIM or standalone, and what's the difference between them, right? First of all, when you start OBD, you need to create a new project, right? A new OBD file, we call it. So we just go, as you launch OpenBridge Designer, you will go File New and create a new OBD file, right? So what is that OBD file? The OBD file, I define it myself as a kind of a project manager file that contains all my projects, or the direction, right, where all my projects are located. For example, myself, I've been managing 3 different bridges in 3 different locations. So in what directory did I put that DGN file? In what server is that? What folder I'm using, right? So we used to annotate this on a piece of paper. Not anymore, because right now with this OBD file, I know, for example, that this project that I call PG Gore completed is using this DGN file as my bridge repository, and it happens to be that this DGN file is, as you can see on the screen, on that folder. So I don't need to remember or browse to that old directories to see where that file is located, right? So that's the idea of this standalone of that directory, of that OBD file. Now, more than that, you can create in each workflow, either one, you can say, okay, I need to create a new project. And to do that, I will just create a new project, right? And I'm gonna call it, Signal, right? That is my project name, right? And in that project name, I said, oh, I need to manage one bridge, right? And I'm gonna call this bridge, I'm gonna rename this one that it was presented to me. I'm gonna call this bridge, for example, the PG01 bridge, right? So as you can see, I got this PG01, but there's no DGN file yet associated to it because I haven't opened. On that same project, SIG-meeting, I have another bridge, and I'm gonna call this PG02 bridge. And again, I don't have a DGN file associated with it, right? So now I'm going to have a bridge associated with PG01, right? So I'm gonna go OpenBridge Modeler, right? It will open OpenBridge Modeler. I'm going to pick the proper standards that I'm going to use, right? It's loading, so Imperial, that's good. And I'm going to browse to the proper location of that DGN file that was already created. And let's do this one. Okay, my project ready to go, right? So that's a bridge that happens, it's already completed, and this is my PG bridge ready to go, right? So by the same exercise, let me exit the file, right? I have it. It knows now. Look at the name of the file, right? PG bridge complete. I will close it, and then you will see now that in this workflow, right, this PG bridge model now is associated with this DGN. So next time I need to access the bridge, I don't need to go and start fumbling again. What folder did I put it? What is the server name? I just click, it's right there. And that's the name of the file. And if I hover to that, that is the actual location, just like that, right? Now, let me enlarge the screen a little bit on that. So, for example, here, but then you will say, what is the difference then? Well, look at this. When I have the BIM workflow, I'm doing modeling, but the analysis is locked on drawings too, right? Now, this same process in which I created different models with design files, I can do exactly the same with the standalone, right? Actually, in the standalone, I have more projects, right? I have a standalone group with PG that is precast. I got another one with steel, and then I got another one with a curved steel, right? Each one of them managing different files, right? Look, you see how they change? See, this is also the advantage of the window. Look, this is my curved girder bridge. Let me enlarge the screen so you can see the difference here. See? But then, no, this steel girder is that one, and it's completely different, right? I can do a window area. I know it's here. Or maybe this precast one, it's also at the same location in a different DGN file, right? So far still, you will see that there is no difference between the standalone or the BIM workflow. I'm still doing the same operations on these two, right? Now, let me, one more time, and you notice the difference. In the BIM workflow, the analysis is locked. In the standalone workflow, modeling is open, and also the analysis is open, right? So then it comes the first choice for you here. What is this? The way I do it is, what is the status of my project? Maybe I don't want to even model anything in MicroStation, right? I don't need it, the OBM. I just want to do a quick calculation, right? Or maybe the DOT doesn't require to give me a 3D model, and I have LEAP already running, and I have my files already there, right? I need to review some LEAP calculations. So then I would say the standalone workflow is for you, because you can create a model, maybe I want to call it review calcs, right? In which I know that I don't need to do modeling. But even though I need to review my analysis, and then I can launch independently LibBridge Concrete, because somebody provided me these files, right? The LEAP file already calculated, or even something old like ConeSpan or RCPR file that I need to review and update. I'm not going to remodel the bridge in MicroStation. I don't need it. I just can go to LEAP and say file open and bring my LEAP file, right? So it works completely standalone, right? So that's what I would do if I only want to perform analytical calculations. No BIM modeling, no MicroStation drawings are needed, just pure analytics. So again, I will go excuse me, with the standalone workflow and then just go analysis. The same with LibBridge Concrete, with LibBridge Steel, and track these files, right? So that will be the standalone workflow. Now, what's the other option that you can use for this? What about if on the standalone workflow, you still want to model, right? So, hey, I got a DGN file associated here for a precast bridge, right? So I create a project called Standalone, and let me go in, and then you will see. I will go OpenBridge Modeler, the file is already there, so I will, and then I got the bridge, right? Now, on the standalone workflow, I would say, okay, this bridge is modeled already, right? We have covered this in previous sessions. And then I would say, Okay, I need to calculate this bridge, and actually this is a precast bridge, so it will go to LIP, right? Look at the menu. That's one of the first difference that I want to point to you. I will send it to LIP bridge, right? So good, send and update. I will send to LIP bridge, right? And yes, update it, right? And it will open LibBridge, and it will create a LibBridge concrete file. See? Transfer successful, and fit view, that is that lib file, right? So then you're ready to calculate. You will say, okay, now it's time of the structural calculations. So I will go to my superstructure, right? And then go to the precast pre-stressed girders. Well, ready to go. It's going to be a multi-span, LRFD8, geometry. And you have the full capabilities of modify the geometry of the bridge, right? The layout, you can change the station, the offsets, you can change almost everything on the bridge, beam types and all of that, right? You can do all of this, right? And then just proceed with the design, right? Pick a tendon strand and then just go loads. I'm going to go very quick on that, right? So yes, and then analyze it and run the analysis, right? So you will run the analysis and design the beams if you want to, right? So I will just do this again very quick, just at random, and we'll see what happens, right? Hit OK. So everything is designed, right? So now, as I come back to this and finish it, remember that we're running the pre-stressed girder and the lip bridge, right? Now, let me go back here one more time. In cross sections, I can change information here, right? I can change the beam size, for example, right? I can fully change the design. In some of the stuff also, if you think about it, not only I can change the beam size, but also I can even change the pier locations, right? The skew angles. So I can drastically modify the bridge, right? And as I'm saying that, when all of this is designed, yes, I want to update my model, right? And it closes. Then I go to geometry here, and you will see if I turn on transparent view, right? On transparent view, that my beams are designed, and now it comes. Now here you will have the in tools to say, oh, this design didn't work for me, right? So I just need to exit, and just nothing what it's done, I can work with it. Or on the other hand, you can say, okay, now I need to send this analytical design, send it to OBM, right? Send it to OBM, and in order to send it to OBM, I need to save a transfer file. That is an XML file that I need to put it in a directory. I'm going to call it zig01, right? Save it. It's good. And then I need to close leap I don't need to save the model, right? Or maybe I want to, up to you, right? Let's save it just in case, right? Save this model too, right? And then exit, leap. Look at all the steps that I need to do. Then I go back to OBM and then say, okay, now I did it, right? I finished the design. I may have changed some information, so I need to update my model using that XML file that I save. I need to remember the directory too, that I call it 601, update it, right? And then when I update it, it presents me on a list telling what did you change and what changes you want to accept, right? So you got to synchronize yourself what was going on. Maybe you change the skew angle of the pier analytically, and OBM cannot take that. You change the beam layout, that you want to take it or not. So you got to do this synchronization yourself, right? And then you can accept all the changes or not. And then hit OK, right? And then your model will update, right? If at one point you forgot to do this synchronization, so then you may have a difference between the analytical model that you have and the OBM model, the BIM model. Is that what you want? Right? What if we use the standalone then? Right? I will use the standalone maybe, at least again, that's a personal opinion, to do a quick trials of options. Maybe create the model very quick, go to LEAP, concrete or steel, and start changing beam sizes and all of that until it works. Right? And then when it's done that, then I can come back to the model and redo it again, right? Update what I can and keep going, right? Or maybe I say I needed just a model, and when I finish the analytic, I save the file and give it to the structural engineer, because I'm planning to work disconnected. You know, my model will be one thing, and the structural engineer will do the LEAP calculation separately, and he will tell me what to update. Right? If I want to have this on purpose, kind of disconnected work, or dependent on me if I want to update it or not. Okay? On the other hand, right, my design is almost done. I will say, oh, okay, let me go, or I'm forcing myself now to work on the BIM workflow. You see, there is no analysis. It's locked. Right? Because as I enter the file, and then for that, right, it's for that now, you have the option to say, okay, I need to do analytics, right? So when I need to do analytics now, I said, I want to send it to LEAP. Look at the difference in the menu. Remember that it was send to, update to? Not anymore. Now it's send to, well, I need to send it. Update the analytics. So the model, if it changes, it will send it to LEAP. But now also I can read reinforcement. You will see what is that. So let's go and send it to LEAP. I will send it to LEAP, right? The same, it creates a model report and just telling me what is going to be able to transfer or not, right? The previous one was the same, I just didn't show it to you. And I go, and then I go to LEAP, right? It creates the transfer file and it goes there. So same, it's going to launch LEAP for that. And it's the same LEAP. Hit OK. Right? And close here. Fit view, right? That's LEAP. But as you can see, the menu has changed a little bit. What happened with the geometry, the pre-stress, not anymore, because now this leap is just used for purely analytical solutions or calculations, right? For example, then I want to calculate the superstructure, right? There is no more geometry. There is no way to change, right? So then I can go analysis and design directly, still launch leap, right? Passes through all of that, and look, see how the menu has changed? What about if I need to change the concrete strength? It's all coming from OBM. I just pick a tendon strand, my loads, that's leap. Right? Now you recognize that. I can still do the same operations, but I cannot change any kind of the geometry. I still perform the analysis, just run it, right? Design the beams, right? Or design, for example, very quick, right? Now, what happens if the beams don't work? Oh, this is bad, right? So I cannot change it in leap. I will need to go to OpenBridge modeler and change the beam sizes here, and then come back to my leap and do this, right? Now the same thing. Yes, I want to update the model. Yes, even though I just picked the wrong one, that's okay. Then I can go and say, okay, now I need to design this pier, for example, right? I think it's pier 2. So I can go analysis and design. No, that's the abutment. I'm sorry, that's the abutment. So I will go pier 1. Yes. Analysis and design. That's the pier, right? So I can go and say, okay, this is the one, and just load it, right? It's already loaded, and I can go to analysis, run the analysis, design the reinforcement, auto design. I got it previously designed myself. Design it, close. Design all the columns, design all the footings, for example, right? Auto design all of them, right? This seems to work. That's the piles. Close it. Exit here. Update the model. Yes, I want to update the model. Right, and let's see how my design came. Right, has the columns and they have these footings there. Right, so now how do I save this? There is no save. You just exit. It allows you to save the file as its name there, but it goes directly to OBM. Right, and in OBM there is no need to update anything because the model is already changed. Right, now, but the other thing that you can do, and this automatic synchronization allows you to do, right, is this, that now you can bring the reinforcement. Remember in leap we calculated, it knows the connection with analytics, and it will just bring the reinforcement that you calculated in leap here. Okay, and this reinforcement is not just a picture, because we know in leap, remember, leap is analytics. Leap doesn't know if a bar fits. It doesn't know the pin radius. It doesn't know the bar bending that it needs, a number 8 or a number 10 bar, right? But when it brings it, it brings at least the diameter. And if you go here now with OBD into the Pro Concrete workflow, you can go and say, okay, this pier that I have, right? Now I can go and let me switch it to wireframe, for example. Wireframe, right? I can go and say, okay, this bar that I have, double click it, right? And it will bring the Pro Concrete menu, because these are not just lines anymore, they're actually bars. right? And he brought it from analytics, so now you can say, okay, no, this is good. Leap did this, but now I need to add the proper end conditions that I need. And then you will be able to do it, right? So it becomes a pro-concrete element that you can use, right? And see how it changes? And do all of this. Now, you can realize and say, oh, this doesn't work. So I need to change the hooks. I need to change to a different diameter. Can optimize this. So it becomes a full pro-concrete element, right? And that is the advantage as well of generating this BIM workflow, because everything connects to each other, right? And with this option, you can get quantities and all of that, right? You can get the bar analytics happening on this project too, right? So you can see this is a direct connection with analytics. Now, when you run your calculations, you maybe set up load combinations or something different in Leap. You're not going to lose that every time you update analytics. So you may change a footing size, for example, and then just say, update my analytics, right? It will go update the analytical model, and when you send it to Leap, it will just retain that calculations, and it will just update the new dimensions. Okay? Now, the key here, right, is that when it comes like that, right, so you tell me now, what would be the best workflow for you? Would it be a BIM workflow, or would it be a standalone workflow? All right, so I said, it's up to you how you want to handle this, right? For a more consistent on the project, and I would say for me, easier on managing files, I will use the BIM workflow. If I'm trying to use more trial and error, trying a lot of configurations very quick, maybe even doing MicroStation, or to review very quick calculations, right? Directly in Leap steel or concrete, I will use the standalone workflow because I want to access directly Leap. Right? So, and that's all I have for you today.